Good evening, everyone. This is Mick Ruby, Mufc Realist TV. Clarity, Viktor Gyökeres. The transfer saga that never starts. Surprise people. Some people get emotion sickness. Some people read social media. Some Twitter accounts are tweeting X, Y, Z. Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein. Multiple journalists are reporting, but what is actually the truth? The transfer talk and media spin. And we respect the beacon of transfer, of course. We respect Fabrizio Romano. He's a tier one journalist, of course, but he's got this crescendo that is built up the brand. Here we go kind of thing. So we've seen it so many times that, he starts with one agenda story and then he's twisting the mind and all of a sudden, surprise, it's like you open up this gift box and this joker jumps up and, hello, here we go. But if you followed me on my reporting, you know that I'm not a Fabrizio Romano. I never aimed to be a Fabrizio Romano. I'm a Manchester United fan first and foremost, and reporter secondly, an independent journalist and reporter, and responsible publisher for Mufc Realist TV, both on the web and on the here on YouTube as well. So I value, true journalism the way it used to be, balanced. I try to shy away from clickbait, and that's why you come here, the voice of reasoning. So in this episode, this is for you fans to ask the questions, to get as close shave as possible. What is the truth? Viktor Gyökeres to Arsenal is a media spin. Did Viktor Gyökeres said it himself? Well, let's find out. We're also going to talk about the other latest transfer news regarding Jadon Sancho, the goalkeeping situation, and plenty more. Guys, this is a Friday evening show. This is the first time I'm streaming in a backyard of my hotel somewhere, where I am in Bali. So first settings, mobile settings. I hope you can hear me. Guys, do me a massive favor. Just do me a massive favor. Like and subscribe. Let's get into the show. This one is for you. So get involved with your Q&A and let's go.
And Garnacho!
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Will you be in the dugouts at Old Trafford on Sunday? I will be here. Definitely. I don't know.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go. And one that will be definitely here very soon. It is Bryan Mbeumo. Medical is pending, according to the latest report. I've been exclusively reporting on this as well. They say that the fee will be around 63 million. What I've been hearing is, of course, 63 million, which is about 55 million add-ons with 55 million with 8 add-ons. And also the nitty-gritty what is going on at the moment. They have accepted the second bid, but medical is pending as per report saying next week. Bryan Mbeumo is on holiday at the moment, and Man United will fly him with a jet over to Carrington to complete his medical, sign the papers and fly off. And this deal, according to sources, according to what I've been hearing, will be announced after 1st of June. No, hang on, July, sorry. Why am I keep me mixing up June, July anyway? How you all doing? How you all feeling? Of course, that is 2 over the line. There's Cunha, there's Mbeumo, but that is missing the central piece in this figure. We know that Amorim wants a striker. We know that Rasmus Højlund was underperforming last season, and Rasmus Højlund was never supposed to lead the line. That year when we actually signed Rasmus Højlund, we were supposed to get Harry Kane, but that didn't capitalize. You know where Harry Kane went, Bayern Munich. So Rasmus ended up, getting droughted, not even coached properly. And last season was the evidence of Rasmus Højlund's, underdevelopment, I'd say. First season, yeah, there was a good Rasmus Højlund. He scored a lot of goals, he created chances. He wasn't really getting service. But Ruben Amorim said it himself, this is the start of my era. So what is the truth regarding Viktor Gyökeres? If you've been following my timeline on Twitter, ever since May, ever since end of April, I've been quite consistent. The reason per se, I used to work as an intermediate in the agency, but also independent journalist. And as I mentioned, I am a Man United fan. I'm a fan like you, but I love my club. So I tend to sort of look at reports, what people are saying, and say, well, just comparing to my notes and to the people that I know to sort of understand, is this true? Is it not true? And just try to call out the BS. Now, lately, there has been a lot of BS in the ether, especially on Twitter as well. Twitter is short journalism in certain ways. You can put in a couple lines and people will sort of read between the lines and make an assumption to say that Gyökeres doesn't want Manchester United. Now screw him. If he doesn't want us, he just wants Arsenal, then screw him. There's those type of fans. And then you have those type of journalists that are not attached to the club whatsoever. They're utilizing Manchester United because we are the biggest club in the world, the biggest social media followers in the world. And they utilize that left, right, center just to create this drama and crescendo. I mean, just give one example what happened 2 weeks ago with Fabrizio Romano when he absolutely came out on the weekend with that bomba to say that Viktor Gyökeres prefers Arsenal. Right. And then 2 hours later, Fabrizio backtracks. And I call him out on Twitter as well. And he backtracks to say, oh, no, I never said that. I didn't say that. He didn't say no to, Manchester United. He's still in the race. So, and I goes like, what is it going to be like, And now we're hearing that he's swaying back. Like, no, now they're spinning it back to say that, oh, Manchester United are in pole position. So let's begin from the very first beginning, guys. Do not forget to like and subscribe. You guys are coming in raw, late. I know it's evening, it's Friday, it's payday. A lot of you got paid, but let's talk about this cool and composed as a fan forum as well. And if you're not a Man United fan, get involved in well and let me know what you think, over the Viktor Gyökeres story so far. I will give you my opinions and what I know, and then I want to hear from you as well. So what is the truth? What is the truth? Well, Gyökeres has never said no to Manchester United. That is evidential, right? Gyökeres under Ruben Amorim is the striker that he is today. Gyökeres respects Ruben Amorim like his father. If you look back at Gyökeres' career, when he started at Brommapojkarna back in Sweden, which is a Division 2 club, he was a nobody. He was a late bloomer. He got his move to Brighton, which he thought like, this is it. But he was never sort of noticed. He did everything in training. The gaffer didn't look his way. He was loaned out 3 times. And it wasn't really successful. That wasn't until he came to Coventry when he actually had a manager that saw something really special in this young Swedish lad. And he put an arm around his shoulder, and Viktor Gyökeres that season in the championship in Coventry scored 22 goals. And the rest is history. Ruben Amorim scouted him, picked him up, and the rest is history. 2 years in a row, he became the Golden Boot winner. So why would you say that you don't want him, right? If you look at what we currently have, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So the media has kind of spun you the narrative, like, yes, it's true, 100%, that he wants to play in the highest level. Gyökeres is in this peak. He's in his 26 years of age, so you can look at his trajectory. And of course, he wants to compete with the best. So any type of player wants to play in the best competitions, play in the best tournaments. If you're a tennis player, you want to play in all the Grand Slams, yeah? But in order to do so, you need to qualify as well. But that is just not the case, right? Players also look at, will I be the main man? What will I do with Arsenal? What my role is going to be with United? So, of course, there is absolute truth that Manchester United have had numerous conversations with Gyökeres over the past couple of months. Even Florian Plettenberg has said it. Even the likes of Fabrizio Romano have said it as well. And there have been numerous conversations. And there was one striker that Ruben Amorim wanted, at least when he left Sporting, unannounced, shocked Sporting fans. And he said, I'm not going to rinse you for the players, but there's one player that I want to have. And that is Viktor Gyökeres, right? Because Viktor was nobody until he came to Sporting. He became a household name. He became the superstar under Ruben Amorim. So it doesn't really make sense. Why would he pick Arteta over Ruben Amorim? Make it make sense. So, of course, he wants to play in Champions League, right? And Arsenal is in Champions League. But let me just rephrase what Fabrizio Romano was also saying. Quote, Fabrizio Romano was saying that he was 99% sure that Viktor Gyökeres will sign for Manchester United if we had made Champions League. So that means that he hasn't rejected United. He wants to play for Manchester United, but the Champions League is something that he kind of prioritizes. Yeah? But he's also open to Manchester United and the rebuild project. This is exciting the players. Well, what is my role? What is going to be my vision? Am I going to be the hero to take Manchester United back to the top? And Ruben Amorim is definitely somebody he trusts and respects deeply. Meanwhile, Arsenal, what we've seen, are focused on Benjamin Sesko. That has always been the case. Even 1 year back ago, Arsenal wanted Benjamin Sesko. Manchester United also looked at Benjamin Sesko. Elvis Bosanovic, Benjamin Sesko, was there touring, visiting Carrington and visiting, Arsenal as well. Because he knew that in this summer, his player, Benjamin Sesko, will make a move. Of course, they were very close, Arsenal, to sign Sesko in January, but January, Sesko decided to stay at RB Leipzig to continue his development. And they had an agreement with RB Leipzig that he could leave in the summer. So Sesko is a club signing for Arsenal. This is an Arteta signing for Arsenal as well. Arteta has had a lot of say in Arsenal's transfer policies. That's evidential. But then they got this sporting director, quite new, called Andrea Berta, right? And Andrea Berta is kind of known in the market that he will kind of, go for 1, 2, 3 players. It's like he's going to a fancy disco party and he has 3 different suits. He knows that he's chasing a type of girl, but he doesn't really know which one. On the other hand, on the back room, everyone say, go for Margot Robbie, go for Margot Robbie. Now I will line up Julia Roberts and Pamela Anderson and Margot Robbie. And then we will see who will dance with me, right? And I will put on my suit. But now it looks like it was a show for the gallery. Arsenal's main striker target has always been the other Swede, Alexander Isak. The number 2 was Benjamin Sesko, club signing, even before Berta came in. So Berta need to understand the club priorities, right? And number 3, what they were saying, is Viktor Gyökeres. So if you are Viktor Gyökeres, if you are a player, trust me, I used to be an intermediate, you want to be loved, yeah? You want to be the number 1 choice target. So that is your choice. You don't want to be as playing second fiddle, like, oh, well, you rejected me, Margot, so therefore I'm going for Julia Roberts. You know what I mean? This is like I'm trying to talk in layman's term. So the overall media spin, what they've been saying, is to build that narrative that he doesn't fancy to play for Ruben Amorim again. It's the Manchester United tax. If you know, you know. If you're a true Man United fan, you know the media hates us, right? So, and the talks came out to say that, in fact, I've been quite factual regarding this on my Twitter timeline, that did he ever say that? Did he ever open up his mouth to say that I want to play for Arsenal? Or was it media? So far, it's media. So far, it's Fabrizio Romano also saying, But, however, I know for a fact that the moment he said that on that tweet and he retracted by doing a YouTube video, that was because the agent of Gyökeres called him up and gave him bollocks, because that kind of jeopardized the whole thing, Manchester United prime target ever since January has been Gyökeres. We saw that we were linked to Liam Delap. That is absolutely true. There was 2 plans. Basically, plan A, if we will make Champions League, we will sign both Gyökeres and Liam Delap. Plan B, if we don't get the Champions League money, that means we can only go for 1 striker. And then we have to sell, right? If we have gone with plan A, we didn't have to sell that much. So that is what's going on. And of course, they had to let go of Liam Delap. Liam Delap did a lot of touring and ended up in Chelsea at the end of the day. But Manchester United kept focusing on Gyökeres. That is Ruben Amorim's target. That is what Ruben Amorim wants, period. There's no argument regarding that, to be honest. So the talk of Arsenal is media spin. The talk is to say that agent has told Manchester United that he wants to join Arsenal because of Champions League. That is normal one-on-one. That is the job of the agent to do, to regenerate the interest. You know, if I'm going to put it in an analogy, if we're going on this dating analogy, then if you are chasing this girl or a boy, whatever you swing, it doesn't matter. It's an open-ended world nowadays. You know, if a girl rejects you, she's gonna be more attractive to you, so you gotta be chasing, and that is exactly what the agents are doing. They're generating a lot of interest, right? That is the job of the agent, to make sure that they get a sell. Agent thinks about sell because agents only get commission when they sell. But then they also have to listen what the player wants. Now, of course, Ruben has had numerous conversations with Gyökeres over the phone, 100%. And Gyökeres, by the way, told Sporting that he will be leaving this summer because they had an agreement. Gyökeres could have left this January window, but he did honor the club because he loves Sporting, as per my understanding as well. But he wants a new challenge. So if you look at his career trajectory from Brighton, Coventry, loaned out to Germany Division 2, Coventry, and Sporting, this is the next step. Who has the biggest pulling power in the world? You know, some people say that Manchester United don't have the pulling power anymore. We're not that big club. It's absolutely not true. Manchester United still have the pulling power. Just look at Cunha signed for us, and Mbeumo signed for us. Multiple players signed for us. Lenny Yoro, we beat him over Real Madrid. So yeah, definitely. Especially if you be presented the plan, the vision, what is your role? You're going to be the star man. You're going to be the leading goal scorer here, together with Cunha, together with Mbeumo, with Bruno playing backwards. We're going to recruit midfielders, a new goalkeeper. We're going to be unstoppable force. Forget about Arsenal, the invincibles. There will always be the invincibles. We, Manchester United, we are the groom. Arsenal will always be the bridesmaid. Always be the fact. And as a matter of fact, Arsenal, no surprise today, announced the surprise centre-back signing. A centre-back signing. They're not serious. Mikel Arteta hates strikers, right? Everyone knows that Arsenal are missing a striker to win the title. But why are they not recruiting one? I don't know. You know, it's weird. And then you have Zubamendi. They rather recruit midfielder and defenders rather than the attacker. So that means that they walked away, or they have indication from Elvis Bosanovic, which is Sesko's agent, that they will lower down the price, because the asking price for Benjamin Sesko for RB Leipzig was 80 million euros. And this is what they utilized this Gyökeres story to pressure RB Leipzig to get to the 70 million euros, which is equivalent to 60 million pounds. So if Benjamin Sesko is the #1 target, which stylistically speaking fits Arteta ball rather than Gyökeres, then I'm sure they will definitely go for him. If some miraculous reason, and this is the role of a sporting director, you know, if your plan A doesn't work out, then of course you have spoken to plan B to activate it, and you understand exactly what the salary demand will be. So personal terms, you can agree with multiple clubs, not a problem. But that doesn't mean that you commit to that club, you know. So that's kind of the way it operates, you know. But for me, this indicates now that Arsenal are trying, sort of walking away. They're not signing the priority striker position anymore, because they're going for midfielders, they're going for, you know, a central defender, and then potentially going for the striker at the end, right? I'm pretty convinced that Benjamin Sesko will go to Arsenal, and at the end of the day, Gyökeres will become a Manchester United player. There is a Swedish sports journalist that I know quite well, and his name is Erik Niva. Erik is the kind of Fabrizio Romano, a football expert in Sweden, and he writes for the biggest sports publication in Sweden called Sportbladet, Aftonbladet, and he also a pundit on Viasat Fotboll. And even him has followed Gyökeres and had numerous interviews. So I believe Erik Niva when he said, direct quote, that I'm convinced that Gyökeres will become a Manchester United player this season. So what is holding it back? What is holding it back, you know? You see, Amarin and Gyökeres, they share a special relationship. That is very, very important for the player to choose, you know, which makes no sense, like, you know, Arteta, like, you know, Arteta is scary. Arteta has no personality, right? So Ruben Amarin is kind of like a father figure to Gyökeres. So they are now in the current situation where it's a stalemate. Because if you've been following the story, it's basically because when last year, when Hugo Vienna, the sporting director of, you know, that is now with Manchester City, him, the agent, Patrick Poldevar, the legal representative, made an agreement that he could leave this summer for the fee of 55 plus 10 add-ons. We're talking about British pounds here if we're quoting. So cool, you walk away, you do your thing, you've been loyal to the club, you start banging shitload of goal, you know, you're in Champions League, you're doing your thing. And on that notion, summer comes, you say goodbye to the sporting fans, you wave goodbye, you already say goodbye, you know. And then the sporting president, Verandas, expected a bidding war. Of course, why wouldn't you? You know, it's a priced asset. This is the leading Golden Boot goal scorer in Europe 2 years in a row, scoring over 60 goals. But nobody is kind of falling for it. Why? Because they don't really understand. They are going on the agreement of the release clause, 55 plus 10. So Verandas comes out to say, no, I will not be held for ransom by his agent or by anyone else. We want 80 million, 100 million, but nobody has come in to bid. We see numerous reports that clubs are trying, but they were rejected. Juventus tried, but Juventus is Juventus. Italian clubs and clubs in Europe at the moment are, you know, looking at the financials, the PSR. And the days of Galacticos to pay big money, it's over. Unless your name is Marcus Rashford or Jadon Sancho, and you don't want to sort of do your wage bill cut, you know what I mean? Jokes aside. But what is remaining then? Real Madrid is not there. Liverpool is not there. There's nobody there other than Man United and Arsenal. And most likely, Benjamin Sesko will go for Arsenal because they're getting what they want. You know, Sesko is in love with Arsenal. He wants to play for Arsenal, and that's a perfect fit, you know. Gyökeres, Amarin, father, son, makes sense, right? So I've been told by my sources that I trust well, including that Gyökeres is Amarin's and United's #1 target. He wants to move. So I do expect things to heat up, but not as quickly what you guys want, right? I know I'm a fan myself. I know that, hey, we want to have these signings very quickly, right? But trust me, after this signing of Cunha, Man United will focus on the sales. They will focus on the central midfielder and the striker. That is what's going on in the pecking order, right? It's so important now that we get Sancho out of the door, Rashford, Anthony, potentially Casemiro. Man United has already liberated wage bills for Lindelof to leave. Eriksen has left, so therefore we need to replace Eriksen in the midfield as well. So there's room for improvements. But in terms of the personal terms, well, it's already been agreed by the conversations with the agent and Manchester United. It is normal practice that, you know, what you demand in salary. Here's what we're going to offer you. Here's the vision. It's a 5-year contract what you're going to make, you know. Or you're going to make 300k per week. That's more what you're earning at Sporting at the moment. We have a ceiling, but we can also do something called performance bonus index, meaning that we can offer you 300k per week plus add-ons if you can make us come into top 4 and play in Champions League. You might not be in Champions League this year, but you will play in Champions League multiple years or in Europa competition. So trust me, the player is not always looking to play in the Champions League year in and year out. If you've been presented the vision of this rebuild, the Manchester United will be on top again and challenging for titles. Only that prospect is a turning point for anyone that's choosing a club, not only the salary. Of course, then you have players that only look at the paycheck, like Victor Osimhen, which is a strange thing to me. In a way, he said no to Saudi because he doesn't want to play in the Saudi league. You know, he still wants to play continental Europe, but for a good, decent fee of money. And we were never linked properly with Osman. It was just a media narrative. Like, it was agent driving it. You know what I mean? There were stories, oh, you know, Viktor Osman is in love with Manchester United. Yeah. But then Ornstein came out to say that, nah, not that I hear. Manchester United have him far down in his pecking order. So that leaves only one alternative. That's Gyökeres. Gyökeres. Who else is out there? Dusan Vlahovic. People was asking me to ask Alfredo Pedula, is there any links with Dusan Vlahovic to Manchester United? No. It doesn't fit the profile. You see, Ruben Amorim is looking at players that will fit his system. We're talking about players that are multifaceted, players that could actually play in multiple positions, right? Players that have the right attitude and right mentality, you know. So it doesn't really matter if Gyökeres will come in July, August. Why? Because it's a plug and play, meaning there is a striker that already knows what he's expected from Amorim. He knows the system. So I wouldn't be worried if we're going to preseason without a striker. At the end of the day, as long as he's there for the game against Arsenal, that'd be fantastic, in my opinion. So I do expect this to heat up in July, August, right? A late one. But that is what's missing, is because right now, the true story is that the agent and the intermediate in this, or the broker, we'll get to that later, is trying to sort of resolve this, because legally on paper, they made sure that the original agreement with Hugo Vienna was well documented. And that's why you have your legal representative, Patrick Poldergaard, with you, right? You don't want to have a Frankie de Jong saga, you know, when you don't have anything, just a verbal agreement. So they make sure. So good on the agency side, right? Hassan Santiago and all of them. So at the end of the day, it is a battle. Like, contractually speaking, he's still a Sporting player. So he's owned by the club, 100%. So they could definitely say, well, you're not going anywhere. But then the player can say, well, I refuse to come. I refuse to play. And it's going to be a headache for Sporting. So there will be a resolution. But I don't think that Manchester United will pay the £55 million at the end of the day. Because Manchester United will do. They have an excellent relationship with Sporting, by the way. Anyway, so I think that will be resolved. So it's never a club-to-club negotiations. They use intermediates to speak. And this instance, what you're hearing about Jorge Mendes being involved, well, this is typical where Jorge Mendes come involved. He's not the agent, the super agent, but he is the broker. He's the deadlock fixer, right? So Jorge Mendes has also a fantastic relationship with Sporting, of course, being Portuguese. Jorge Mendes helped Manchester United on numerous occasions, you know, to get, you know, the likes of Ugarte over the line, the likes of Lenny Euro over the line. So now he's involved. He's involved. Try to fix this. So at the moment, why there is no bids, nobody has made a bid, because it's no clarity. What should we bid? But you just don't throw in a bid in there and get rejected. Then, because then media will pick it up and spin it out. Haha, United got rejected. Haha, Arsenal got rejected. So that is the actual truth. That is the factual truth. Nothing will be happening until they resolve this issue. And when it's going to be resolved, it's going to be glorious, because then I believe the Manchester United will put in a bid. Man United will have a lot of time to sell the players like Garnacho, like Rashford, like Sancho, and many, many more. And by doing so, time has passed. They freed up the wage bill. They have money to go to buy the central midfielder and a striker and a goalkeeper. And that is the plan. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think at the end of the day? I've been live for 30 minutes trying to discuss this, but thank you for listening. I did a lengthy tweet about this. I think this is as close shave as you can, you know. I think that at the end of the day, as a fan, right, I want us to challenge for titles. I want the best upcoming striker that is out there. And at the moment, who do we have left? Is there anyone left? If you look at it, you have Cunha, who guarantees you 15 goals, Premier League proven. Then you have Mbeumo scoring 20, 22 goals. That's over 30, 35 goals. And then on top of that, you add in the middle of Gyökeres. So this might be the dream trio, in my opinion, right? That's got to be guaranteed 60 goals. Guaranteed 60 goals. But in terms of the truth, in terms of the finish of the truth, it's only got to come from the horse's mouth himself. Remember this Instagram post, right? You can only reference to this Instagram post versus what media is saying. There's a lot of talks at the moment. Most are false. I will speak when the time is right. Yours truly, Gyökeres, directly from his Instagram account. So that is him shutting everything down. So what does it mean? What I will speak when the time is right? Well, that means when everything is resolved and when he's actually agreed and they're put in a bid. And I don't think that Arsenal are having the patience right now. They want to move on. So they will go for Benjamin Sesko. They will not sort of be involved in this. No. We want to complete our business as soon as possible so we can move on. Well, Manchester United do have patience. Manchester United don't have the finances directly to go in and make a bid at the moment because, as I explained, they can't really make a bid until they have a clarity. But when they do go in and make a bid, it will not be 55. It will be 60 because they will offer something, what they always do, amortization, installments. Here, take 5 extra and we can do this deal in 3 installments. Personal terms, not a problem. It's not a problem. We have freed up the wage bills. Ratcliffe and Ineos has been madness in cutting down staff. They've been preparing for this summer for Ruben Amorim to back him. I'm getting a little bit excited, but as a fan like you, this is the transfer window and we've seen a lot of surprise. Anything could happen. My worst fear is Liverpool. I never sleep on Liverpool because out of nowhere, they can go just like, switch it on. Yep, here's money on the table. Let's go. And that is the danger if you wait too long. But for Manchester United situation right now, we can't just go in and buy him right now, right? It's a risk. We need to sell to buy. And the reason why I'm saying after July is because it's the start of a new financial year. So, listen, at the end of the day, guys, this is about you, but let me know what you think. You know, the player has not said it himself. Just use your logic and reasoning. Did the player ever say, I prefer to play for Arsenal? Or was it media towing the narrative? Well, if the player himself hasn't said it, then that's not true then. Make it make sense. And the fact is that he comes out himself on his socials to say that there's a lot of talks at the moment, but most of it is false. I will speak when the time is right. And that's it. That's it. Shut down. 100% shut down. You could say it's his agent, but it's the agent's job to do that, to generate attraction from both clubs. Hey, hurry up, Speedy Gonzalez, hurry up. You know, I'm an agent. I need to make my commission. There's good agents, there's bad agents. Of course, agents only get paid when this deal is done. But at the end of the day, who's the employer is the player himself there. You know? The player needs to be happy. Anyway, big up everyone for coming in here. RJ is in the house. Peace and blessing to everyone. Thank you. Namaste. Peace and blessings. I'm in the tranquility 30 days in the spiritual Bali. And what you see here, I'm sitting outside actually. It's amazing. Do you think we can get Belba? I don't know if we can get Belba. You know, it's a good question. If Isaac can do it in Prem, Gyökeres can also do it. Better for me. Well, listen, true that, RJ, because the notion that he's not Premier League proven, it's not true. You know, where did he end up? Like, you know, he came from Brommapojken and he went to Brighton, so he's Premier League proven. Then he went to Premiership to play for Coventry as well. So that is somebody that is adopted. And during this period of time, he's kind of developed as well. So for him, it's a revenge to come back to the Premier League. He wants to play in the Premier League to show revenge because he was snubbed at Brighton anyway. So yeah, good question. Yolim, I mean, what you're saying, and good evening to you. For me to believe in Gyökeres coming to United, I need to see a bid. 100%. And that's real, right? That's real. We can talk as much as we want, but transfer windows are transfer windows. We don't believe until there is a bid, until the player has signed the contract and holding up the shirt. And that has always been the case, Yali. You know? Until then, I think we're getting somebody much cheaper, since we need so many players. I don't like that at all that he's on strike. Well, why is he on strike? You know? You remember Amrabat? He went on strike because he wanted to have his move. He was held from ransom. Players, if you are a employer, Yali, you're definitely working for somebody, and your boss has been promised that you will get your bonus in January, and you don't get your bonus in January. Of course you will go on strike, right? You've been done dirty. You have an agreement. The trust is gone. The trust is gone. So why would you like a player that goes on strike? Because this demonstrates that the player has said goodbye already. He's done with Sporting. He loves and respects the club. He filled up his end of the bargain. And now he's getting shafted because the president of Sporting is getting greedy. 9 out of 10 of these cases, the club loses. Because once the player has forced to move, there's no return back. There's no return back. In matter of fact, it will actually lower down the price even more. RJ saying, I don't want Osman. He goes to AFCON. Yeah, true. Yali again coming in. I say Isaac to Liverpool. Newcastle get Gyökeres, and we cancel. Oh, well, anything could happen there. But I don't think that Liverpool will fork up 200, right? I was speaking to an Arsenal and a Newcastle journalist, and he was just laughing and said, there's no way Newcastle will sell Isak, right? Not even for 200. In your dreams. And Liverpool at the moment, they didn't spend last summer, so they can spend a lot of money now. Plus they won the league and the Champions League, so they want to sort of retain the league to win a double again, right? It's crazy, isn't it, right? It's crazy. If this happens, right, I don't know. But then you got to ask the question, like, you know what I mean? Does he want to play for Newcastle? Is it a big club? He wants to play for a big club, 100%. You know what I mean? And that's why you saw, like, you know, in this release clause contract, there was a certain amounts of club. There were big clubs. The biggest club in Euros was allowed to have this release clause because that's the ambition of the player and his agent. What is my next trajectory from Sporting? Why would I go to Newcastle? Does it make sense? I hope so. Who do we have here? Oyston, Mbeumo, Bomba, Ornstein. Oh, really? Has Ornstein come up with the Bomba? Wow. Really? Let me know in the chat as well. Evening, Mick. Also, as United sell Anthony Garnacho, they will go for Gyökeres, 100%. The Voganator is in the house as well. Good evening, Voganator. I said that from the start, Amarin would like Cunha, Mbeumo, and Gyökeres as his first choice and attack. Cunha done, Mbeumo all done, Gyökeres is still available. Well, yes, this is the Joker. I mean, Gyökeres, he is the Joker in the middle. This is the complete trio, right? I think this is the Ruben Amorim architecture, like the way he figured out the season, right? Of course, it's guttering we didn't get Champions League, but in a way, I think it's good for Ruben Amorim. It's good for Manchester United's rebuild not to be in Europe this season at all, and just focus on the league, focus on development, and get back into the top. Man Lutata, big up to you. Mick, what makes you think he succeed with us? Just because his father in a relationship with Amorim? His mentality, mate. His mentality, you know? His mentality. Unless Man United fans are slating him straight away, because we tend to build up players and then we tear them down and throw them in the bin. What? Mbeumo bid what? Mbeumo bid rejected. That's the bomba. Really? When did this happen? Jesus Christ. Where did this come from, guys? Where did this come from? Gordon McNee. Hey, Mick, we need somebody outgoings. Then it's onwards, upwards for United. 100%. No, I'm just definitely interested where this thing is coming. All right. Why has it been rejected? Big up Mick and VR rooms. Big up Stephanie. Now, let me see. Gaming Simp in the house. Big up to you. Evening. How are you doing? Now, I'm very interested to what you're saying here. Where did this news come from? Burba in the house as well. Big up Burba as well. We have also the Inspired channel. Complete the Mbeumo signing first before talking of Gyökeres. Yeah, 100% agree. But, you know, I'm just intrigued what was saying there. Where did this bomber? Mbeumo second bid rejected. Club failed again. Jamie, you are one of our moderators. Please, where did this come from? Where did this come from? Did this come from... I can't see that. Let me just check it live at the moment on Twitter, X. Where did this come from? Is this happening now then, in that case? Is this happening right now? Let me just do the investigation. It's not what I heard. That's coming from Sky. Sky. Just in, second bid. Oh, this coming. I'm reading on United exclusive. Second bid, Manchester United bid for Brian Mbeumo rejected. Improved offer worth about 62.5. I said it. This is Sky Slow Sports News, right? If we want to sort of go in particular details, let's go into my Twitter timelines. Let's do that. Let's go into my Twitter timelines. Okay, I'm going to share you the screen. Hubba. Slow Sports News, Sky Sports News. Okay. Let me just find it. Yeah, all right. Here we go. Let me just go here and pull up and share my screen. Add to the stage, people. Okay. So 23 hours ago, I got news that Mbeumo, I'm hearing the deal could be sealed. Talks have been reported led to a final agreement between the clubs. Fee to be about 63 million. And what you're seeing here, Jamie, is Sky Sports saying that improved offer worth 62.5 million plus 5 million. Talks are ongoing. So, no, it hasn't been rejected. This is Sky Sports News, man. Sky Sports News. And then David Ornstein comes out to say also the Man United's second proposal on 55 plus 7.5 add-ons. The offer still below Brentford's valuation. Talk is still ongoing. So it hasn't been rejected. It hasn't been rejected. Let me just go to the and share this to the stage, people, so we're not twisting our knickers here, right? Jamie, you're overreacting here. Jamie. Let me pull up David Ornstein's tweet. Let me pull up David Ornstein's tweet. It was right here. David Ornstein, here we go. Just in, Manchester United's second proposal is 55 plus 7.5 million add-on. It's very close to what I was told as well yesterday. You know, it was very close to what I told you yesterday. I told you fee believed to be around 63 million, 55 plus 8 million in add-ons, medical outcoming. And now we hear that they're still negotiating about the add-ons. Right? So it hasn't really been rejected. I believe David Ornstein, right? Manchester United's second proposal on 55 plus 7.5 in add-ons. The offer is still below Brentford's valuation. Talks are still ongoing with the player preferring United. So I'd rather believe David Ornstein, in my opinion, than Sky Sports News. That is facts, right? So at the end of the day, guys, I wouldn't worry. And they are not really in a rush to complete this deal, right? You know, he will end up on 63. Similar structure what I've been hearing with Cunha. you know, with the amortization installments. Is it going to be 3 installments, 4 installments? I think that it is going to land on 63 in total. 63 in total. David Onstin Bomba, yes, 100% John Edmund. I can see him. Brian Mbeumo's told Brentford Tottenham he will only join Manchester United. He leaves Brentford this summer. So this could also be that player can step in as well and say, you know, what you guys doing, right? He's forcing a move already. He's already said, I'm joining United. You know. So I rather believe David Ornstein in this instance. Below the valuation. Well, if you understand, they are trying to squeeze out as much money. You know, they might be happy with the base 55, right? But you can also negotiate the add-ons, right? Because as a selling club, you want as much guaranteed money as possible. You know, the add-ons, it's never guaranteed. So if they're 55 plus 8, that means, are we going to get this 8? What are the add-ons? Will he score 30 goals? Will he marry Pamela Anderson? Will he get into Champions League? Those kind of ridiculous add-ons, right? So as a selling club, you might sort of bump it up to 56, you know, and lesser add-ons, or 60, you know. But in the general structure in the deal is what I've been told. They're happy with the 63 total package. It's just the variation in terms of what will be the initial base payment, right? Then you can sort of split it up in multiple phases, like 3 years contract. You know what I mean? So I think that this is kind of still in the final stages, right? It's normal practice. If you're selling your car, Jamie, or anyone else there, it's normal that you want as much money as possible, and the seller is asking you for down payments, and you say, oh, how much? He says 24 months. No, I want 10 months down payment because I want my money as quick as possible. If you know, you know. If you understand. Anyway, Ramo is in the house. Yeah, Voganator, big up. Yeah, thank you, James. Thank you. So, guys, if you want to come in and have a chat, right? If you look at the chat, right, the call-in is pinned there in the Q&A section. It's a link to where I'm sitting right now. So come in and have a chat to me. What do you think about everything what's going on? No, it's not been rejected. You know, don't get your twig. You know, did Ornstein say it's rejected? No, he didn't. He says ongoing negotiations. They just want a little bit more money. They just want a little bit more about the base payment. That's it, right? So I go on Ornstein report, not Sky Bloody Slow Sports, right? Gurav in the house as well. Amarin getting cooked again. No, he ain't getting cooked, man. Relax. Don't again, don't believe everything that's been printed. Like, you know, I'm saying that, you know, Sky Sports News is jumping the gun, Slow Sports News. And then you have the father of the bombs, right? You have the father of the bombs. Here, this is what you should listen to. This gentleman don't tweet a lot, but when he says, it's the Newton's law. Man United second proposal, add-ons. The offer is still below Brentford's valuation. Talks are still ongoing with player preferring United. Not rejected. Talks are still ongoing. Okay, I hope we sort of clarified that one, guys. I'm gonna start a poll as well because I want you to get involved. I want you to get involved because this show is all about you anyway. So let me just, I hope you actually smash the like button. Let's see, we have 600 live viewers at the moment and 48 likes. Oh my God. What is wrong with you? Free content. So if there's 600 watching only on this platform, YouTube, why don't we have 600 likes? Really? You don't have to super chat. It's optional. You can become a member, but likes is something for free, right? This is something that you can just easily press. So guys, please, for the love of God, get those likes up. Like, you know, we are below par here. We need 50 more likes, minimum 100 likes, okay? I will end this poll now, and I will start a new poll. But while I'm starting the poll, start smashing the like button. If you're on your mobile phone, it's easy. You can just smash the like, right? Let's start a poll regarding Gyökeres. I'm going to do a classic Jorge Gyökeres, and this is your fan vote, right? Let's do a Jorge, right? I'm just typing. Okay, let's do a Jorge poll, like, you know, and the question is, Jorge, will Gyökeres become a Man United player? And we do, should we just do, yeah, we do a ranking system, right? And like, let's say 5 is like 50%, 6, we do 8, and we do a 10, which is done deal. No, we just put done deal. Okay, so I created a poll, Jorge, will Gyökeres become a Man United player? We start with 5, 50%, we start with 6, 60%, 8, 80%, and done deal, which means that you absolutely believe he's going to become a Man United player. Let's start the poll right here, right now, and the poll is running live. Fire away. Let's get votings, and let's get those likes up, people, as well. Please, 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 please. Otherwise, I'm going to bore you right now. I'm going to actually do... Yeah, like and subscribe. Let's go back to the chat, people, what you guys are saying. Who is in the house? We have legends in the house. Mark Goldbridge is saying Mbeumo is rejected. Oh, all the respect, but you know, they create this narrative drama because they want you to go in and click on the show, and then he will tell you his opinion at the end of the day, right? So it hasn't been rejected, you know, it is still there on the table. It's still negotiations. Ornstein just saying the offers below they what Brentford expecting. They're still ongoing to reach the final agreement, you know. That's what it is. You know, they simply want more money instead of the 55. Maybe they want 56. Maybe they want 60 and 3 in add-ons, right? At the end of the day, United have money to sort of a total package of 63. It's just how you're structuring that deal, right? Surely, like, you know, if they want more money up front, sure, this is going to be a little bit more difficult for United. So United will hold the ground on 55. But of course, they will meet in the middle. It might be 67 at the end of the day. And Barabush done deal at the end of the day. No, not rejected. Okay, I'm just reading. Get involved, guys. Get involved. Get involved. At the end of the day, as well, if you want to come in and have a chat, just ease off your mind. I will sort of paste the link here as well. I will invite you. Come in and have your say. If you are having a mic, you don't really have to have a camera, but you know, it's always good to see a face. I will paste it in the chat. And welcome. This is a call-in show at the end of the day. This is a call-in show. So come in and have a say. Who is in the background? We do have a Roydon Frost in the house. Roydon.
Hey, how's it going? I'm just trying to check and see if Romano's put out a tweet about Brian Mbeumo. Right. He just put out 43 minutes ago. Mbeumo has been clear on his favorite destination this summer, Manchester United. Manchester United.
Fabrizio.
Yeah.
So it's not rejected.
Well,
It's
that's what Fabrizio said. I'm gonna just check Ornstein quickly and just see what he says, and then I'll check Jacobs. Well, here's Ornstein. Ornstein says 44 minutes ago, Brian Mbeumo has told Brentford and Tottenham he will only join Manchester United if he leaves Brentford this summer. Man United received proposals 45 million plus 10 million and 55 million plus 7.5 million. Still short of Brentford valuation. Talks ongoing.
Yep. It's not rejected.
Yeah, that's why I say I'm gonna just check Ben Jacobs as well. Let's check Ben Jacobs quickly and see what he says. Yeah. Okay, Ben Jacobs says.
I think at the end of the day, I think it's Manchester United. You know, they try to create this narrative like, you know, we've been rejected, like, you know, ha 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 ha. But I believe in Ornstein, right?
There's nothing from Ben Jacobs either. There's nothing.
So there you go.
I mean, Ben Jacobs today put on his timeline that Mbeumo's medical is booked pending for next week. So I mean, what's he going to do that if the deal's been rejected? So yeah.
Okay. Well, while I have you here calling in, like, you know, I want to hear your take on the exactly what I've been presented today on my Twitter timeline, and you've been following rigorously, like I know. I've been rigorously reporting ever since April regarding Gyökeres. You know, does this make any sense? What I was kind of saying, like, you know,
It makes sense. Like as I've always maintained, I maintained from when we lost the Europa League final, and when everybody said no, we're out now, we're not going to get Gyökeres, and I said to myself, well, if why would we negotiate with Gyökeres if there is that chance that we might not win the Europa League? You understand? So that's why I've always maintained, and I always will maintain that we will still be in for Gyökeres, and I'm also going by facts like Arteta wants Sesko. Arteta wants Sesko, and he's made it clear that he wants Sesko. And if you look at the links to Sesko, Sesko links come from 2023 already. From 2023 June is when the Sesko links already come from to Arsenal. You understand? So I mean that's 2 years worth of links. And then when people said no, Arsenal have walked away because Sesko is asking for some ridiculous release clause and all that stuff. I said to them straight up, it's bullshit. There's no way. Arsenal's still in advanced talks and all that stuff. And then the tipping on the cake was that Seb Pinto, sorry, I forgot his name. Seb, if you're
Seb
listening,
Pinto, Seb, yeah, Seb, big up Seb, yeah.
When I listened to his interview, what he said, and when he spoke to Beth, he puts it out there clear cut. And then he was on another channel, United channel, and he said the exact same thing. He repeated the exact same thing the next day, So I think what with the Gyökeres situation, people are being misguided by that. He's prioritizing Arsenal as like a rejection. It's not a rejection. It's just that he's probably giving preference to Arsenal because they've been negotiating with him longer than we have. To be fair, and that's the truth. I mean, if I've got two companies, and the company's been speaking to me since last year July, and then a company comes in December and they start speaking to me, I'm going to prioritize the one that's been speaking to me since July because they've put in all the effort. You understand? So it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No. Fair play. I mean, fair play. I'd say that. I say that at the end of the day, it's inevitable. Like, you got to look at the overall situation. You got to understand where the priorities are for Arsenal, and there's been a club signing, like, club priorities in terms of Benjamin Sesko, right? We know that he wanted to become an Arsenal player back in January, but you got to see also follow the RB Leipzig story. And when you said Seb as well, he is a kind of a credible reporter that is reporting only on Sporting Lisbon, so he has right connections. So yeah, I was really glad to see Seb on the United stand as well, like, and also he was speaking to Sal Warner on the Stratford Post as well. So
yes.
He said there's never been a bid. There's straight facts, like, and I said, yeah, Seb, you're absolutely spot on, right? So and basically Seb is also saying, like, in what I believe, they're running out of options, right? The sporting director expects a bidding war, but they're running out of options. Oh yeah,
I'm coming in for that. I'll stick to it.
Yeah, this is the finale. This is kind of the end of the show.
I said
the remember.
I'll do it for the end of the show. Tell me when you need to go.
So why don't you tell the audience why you're having the pepper sauce?
So what I said was in the last live calling show, if we get 110 likes, I will do a tablespoon I'll take a tablespoon of Carolina Reaper hot sauce. There we go. So I don't know how many of you.
We actually have 117 likes, so I don't know how you calculate that.
Well, that's fine. It's a tablespoon. I'll do a tablespoon. I said a whole tablespoonful if it's 100 likes, so I'll do a tablespoon. So yeah, but I found a hack, so I'm hoping the hack is going to help me because I struggled a bit afterwards. But
did you prepare the yogurt?
No, not yogurt. Toothpaste.
Okay, I'm really looking forward for that. That's going to be the crescendo of the show, by the way, a little bit.
Yeah. I stick to it. If I commit to something, I stick to it.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to waste everyone's time regarding, Jadon Sancho's story. We're going to speak on that exclusively on Sunday. We have Alfredo back on again, and we do have something very, very interesting to deliver on Sunday. So I'm going to save that till Sunday. We were also speaking about Marco Canacetti, the goalkeeper. We're the first one to speak, and now everyone is kind of picking up on that. We're going to speak on that on Sunday as well, because there's some serious interest from Man United. He's a really good goalkeeper. And really, but the goalkeeper for me, it's going to be last in the window. If there's any money over, there's going to be the goalkeeper.
Yes, he will definitely be last. He'll come in last, right at the end.
And also, we also
yeah.
spoke about Edison, and we have some news regarding Edison as well. We saw tweets today that Ruben Amorim has given the green light for Edison, and people saying, why Edison? Why Edison? Some people don't rate him. But if you look at the constellation, if you look at what he's trying to build, you needed Edison to retain the ball. He's a combative player.
He's also a box-to-box midfielder.
Box-to-box, yes. But he's got an engine for two, right? So if you add on a Edison, and that's why you also look at a player like Richard Rios as well, because they can retain the ball, right? If you're playing like with 6 forward up front, you want to maintain pressure. You want to win the ball early and still maintain the pressure. And that is why he wants Edison, right? It's been early links. Now, Man United was offered Edison in January already, but we didn't pull that trigger. And back then we had 40 million pounds, but now they want 50 million pounds.
Yeah.
And that is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, Nemecha too. I see we also linked to Nemecha. You understand? So that is also
But this is the type of place that we are looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And people think, look, Douglas Luiz, I've done a bit of digging on Douglas Luiz. I rate him, but my concern is his last season now at Juventus with the amount of injuries he had. But the weird thing though was the season before when he was at Villa, he didn't have many injuries, and now all of a sudden he's gone to the Serie A and boom, he's just picking up injuries like that. So that was a bit of a shock, a surprise for me, because I would take Douglas Luiz.
Yeah. Wizard is saying you want more Brazilian Portuguese flair players, and yeah, I agree with Wizard, because we need players with mental ability, like with attitude. So Edison is of course Brazilian, right? I like Edison, 100%.
I also like Edison. I would rather, out of all of the ones we've been linked to, if we can get Edison, I would be over the moon. Look, in the ideal world for me, Mick, if we get now Cunha, Buemo, Gyökeres, Edison, and I would say Costa, I would be happy. That would be a thing. But my biggest priority though still remains that we need outgoings. We need the two biggest outgoings we need gone for me is Sancho and Rashford. We need them gone and we need them out.
Yeah. No, we have some breaking development regarding Sancho on Sunday. So tune in for that one. I'm not going to spoil the party now.
Yeah, don't do it now. Keep it for Sunday. Yeah.
Regarding goalkeeper situation, Canacetti and Diego Costa is still hot and number 2 priorities on the list.
How old is Marco Canacetti? How old is he, Marco Canacetti? Do you know?
He's about 25 years of age.
So he's the same age as Costa.
Yeah. So we're looking at that type of profile. Then we were going to also find out a little bit more about Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, because he's also on the list. The story regarding Emi Martinez is more his agent. Like, Manchester United are not looking that seriously on it. Like, there hasn't been that concrete talks. And he's 33 years of age. And yeah, he had a World Cup, but you're looking at why do we want that type of striker? There is actually better goalkeeper that could last longer. Is longevity, and resale value.
That's what I'm possibly thinking. This is probably why we're looking at the Atalanta goalkeeper Marco, and why we're looking at Diego Costa, because they are younger. They're going to have that longevity that goes on. Because remember, a keeper generally only starts hitting their peak when they get to around 27, 28. So
yes, Gurav, I saw a question regarding graphic design. Yeah, sure, man. You can always drop me a message on Twitter, right? So you can do that. But Gurav is asking thoughts on Palace situation.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been updated
I
today on the
don't know.
Palace situation. Yeah, me too. I also don't know much on the Palace situation. I
They're
know
selling
that
Eze to Liverpool.
Arsenal's also linked to Eze.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
that's maybe it's got something to do with PSR. I'm not really sure, but we'll have to wait and see.
Maybe. I'm not really invested in. I'm not really invested in. I don't really follow the Eagles. Like they're not a top six club for me. So I don't know. Yes, I saw you, Gurav, there. So please, if you want to sort of get involved with the channel, the more people wants to get involved. Like I'm just a one-man band. 56 likes. But we're gonna do the hotometer as well, guys, because I started a poll, and we're gonna see what you guys are saying. So stick with us because we're gonna wrap up the show. And the crescendo is the hot sauce. Do it again. Show us what you're gonna do.
I'm gonna take one of these babies.
California Reapers.
Yeah,
So guys, if you get
it's Carolina Reaper. SOS, Carolina Reaper.
if you want to see Roydon Frost come in here more often to do Carolina Reaper and sweat, and hot in, hot out, get your likes up. Because what is the deal, Roydon?
What is the deal with the hot
What is the
sauce?
pack?
Well,
What is the pack?
What is the
Are you
pack?
still committed? 100 likes,
I'm still
one
committed.
spoon.
100 likes, one spoon.
And 2 likes? 200 likes?
200 likes, a tablespoon and a teaspoon. Because that shot I took the other day, that set some fire. The next morning it wasn't great on the when I had to go for another 2. Yeah.
Just get your people, just please, if you want to see 2 tablespoons, that's 200 likes, right? Okay, so get your likes up and going. We're going to do the hotometer right now. So part of the hotometer is definitely Roydon Frost doing the tablespoon of teaspoon was it, of this Carolina Reaper. But we're going to close off the poll because I did create a poll, and the hotometer is: will Gyökeres become a Man United player? And there was 4 options. There was 5, 6, 8, and done deal. And let me see.
I'm coming now. Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah. So we have basically, let's say 50% and 60% has equal rights to 40%. So I need more votes on the poll so we can have a winner. Guys, get your votes in right now, right here, so we can actually have a winner, because we do have a tie here, right? Well, Roydon is preparing his hot sauce as well. I want to see the poll going up. 5 is 40%, 6 is 5%, 8 is 38%, and done deal is 40%. And we do have a winner. We do have a winner because we have more votes coming in, and that means that is the end of the show. The winner is 50%, 5. So you guys are still in the denial camp, which is fair enough. It's more balanced to say it's not done until the contract is signed and until the play is holding, then it's a done deal. Bravo, I agree. So, Roydon Frost, we are serving up for the hot sauce here. Are you guys ready for
the hot sauce? There it is. You guys can see. There it is. You ready?
Wow.
3, 2, 1. Bottles up. Done. And
glory, Man United.
Glory, Man United.
How you feeling?
There we go. Not yet. I haven't felt it yet. It'll kick in now. Ooh, now it's kicked in. Now it's kicked in. Yeah, there we go. Look. There we go.
You're calling the ambulance already. Stand by.
Gavin, I've got the secret. Gavin, I've got the life hack. This works like a charm. This
is entertainment on high level. All right.
Now all you do is you take a bit of this and you just go boom shakalaka. There we go, it's sorted. That's already starting to cool it a bit, yeah.
You're starting to sweat. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
still sweating.
gonna let you off the hook as per usual. I would
Okay.
like to thank you, Royden, again for sticking to your commitment.
You're welcome, Mick.
Guys,
Cheers, man.
again, if you're watching this in retrospective, again, if you get 100 likes, you will see Royden next week coming back in, or potentially Sunday if we get 100 likes, and he will do it again. Because we're going to have Alfredo Padula on, and then we're going to do the fan reaction, so you can have another Q&A asking regarding the Alfredo Padula interview as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. We can see Royden is absolutely calling the ambulance on standby.
No, I'm sweet. Don't worry. The toothpaste is working already. Cheers, man.
Anyway,
I know.
you're welcome.
I'm out.
Anyway,
Cheers.
we achieved 57 likes at the moment and 1,000 watching. So anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Stay beautiful. This has been Royden Frost coming in here and doing his hot sauce challenge as per usual. Crazy. You guys are laughing at the end of the day, but yeah, I'd just like to thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this content. This was all for you as a community. I'll try to do this on a weekly basis. It's a little bit challenging at the moment, so I'm actually on a holiday, 30 days, taking a break, but doesn't mean that I will stop, because the transfer window is about to kick off big time. Anyway, guys, this has been Mick Ruby here with the latest transfer news, and also we had Royden Frost here doing his hot sauce challenge. And as per usual, do me a massive favor, and I hope you really enjoyed this show today. I wish you a fantastic Friday. Sleep well, and don't let the media spin you. The Embuemo deal is not rejected. Ornstein said it. It's still ongoing negotiations. Calmer settings. This has been Mick Ruby, Mufc Realist TV. I'm out of here. Peace. Glory, Manchester United. Good night.